Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Ah, there's peeps on there. I see people. Hello. How's everybody doing today?
Better and better.
Good. So just want to touch base with everybody, see if there's things. I know I got a couple of emails this week that there's things that you guys want to talk about. I know I saw something come through regarding the city of LA turning Just Cause permanently. So city of LA is now permanent Just Cause. Lovely. And I have to tell you guys, a lifetime lease, you got it. Permanent Just Cause in LA City. Youch. So it should be rather interesting going forward. Oh, good. We got more peeps coming in. Just getting everybody logged on. How's everybody doing? Everybody's good.
Better and better.
All to get in here. Of course, right? Just a little bit. I know there's a lot of people concerned about LA City's legislation and what's going on there. It's going to be a battle, folks. I think it might be
It was the People's Republic of Santa Monica, and now it's the People's Republic of LA.
Of LA County. The People's Republic of LA County. Oh, here comes Victor. Good, let's get Victor in. All right, let's get everybody in here, see if anybody has any questions about anything that's going on currently. We're challenged. What can I say? We're going to keep being challenged. Hi, Victor. In LA, it's just what's going to continue to happen. LA County, there should be some light at the end of the tunnel. As far as that goes, and their moratorium ending on April Fool's Day, yay. But we've been fooled before, landlords. So don't put all your eggs in that basket.
Good.
They could do another extension. We never know, you know. They could make another extension. I don't foresee them putting another extension in, but they could. And in the event that they do another extension, well, folks, with all due respect, we've been through this for like 3 years now, so we're accustomed to having things extended and not getting our rights back. I know we don't like it, but it's what's coming about. So as we continue to move forward, don't be surprised if we see additional restrictions coming about from our municipalities. Remember back in the beginning of COVID, I'm still letting people in, just bear with me. In the very beginning of COVID, we had quite a bit of city municipalities that had their own moratoriums. Do you guys all remember that? It was really hard to keep up with whose rules were what. We're going back to that. Lovely. Currently, there is legislation trying to issue rent control ordinances in the city of Claremont. So we are seeing the municipalities come up with their own moratoria and rent control rules, etc. So don't be surprised if we see that going on. If you guys are trying to do something in your city and it happens to be in LA County, I got a solid for you. Google is your friend, okay? Google this city and see if they have any restrictions, moratoriums, anything along those lines. Okay, can I install cameras pointing toward the alley if it also captures the backyard across the alley? I'm gonna choose my words carefully, so please pay attention. You can aim your cameras as long as they're not going inside somebody's bedroom window. That's what you're trying to avoid, is spying on somebody. Watching the comings and goings and what's going on is what a surveillance camera is for. It surveys things, right? Pay attention. Right? We don't offer security. You guys need to remember that you don't offer security. So big thing in your verbiage, you want to make sure that you're not stating that you have security cameras. They are surveillance cameras. And as long as you're not pointing them into somebody's bedroom window and watching that kind of activity, you should be fine. As long as you're not using it to spy when they're coming and going, using that against them, that's where you get into trouble. So you want to be extremely cautious with that, just so that you're not making yourself susceptible to unnecessary litigation. Nobody needs that. Okay?
Patty,
Yes.
you can hear me. This is the first time I've logged onto your web thing. I do believe the test is there's two prongs. One is do they have a reasonable expectation of privacy, and two is you can record the video, but you can't record the audio. I know it sounds weird, but that's the way the law is presently written.
Correct. We don't want to be spying in somebody's unit as to their comings and goings. We're not using it to stalk them. We're using it for surveillance as to people that may be committing crimes or things of that nature. But you want to be extremely cautious that you're not breaking any rules as far as spying on a tenant, looking at a tenant. You call it whatever you want, but we want none of that. We don't want it directly pointed at their window, going through their window and into their unit. If it's angled at a port where it can see comings and goings of the front door, you're probably more than likely going to be okay in that instance. But we don't want to use it to spy on tenants. That is not allowed at all. And we also don't want to disclose to our other neighboring residents that we have security cameras. We don't want to call them that. They don't provide security. They are for surveillance only. Okay? Don't mess up those words. We don't provide security here. It's not a security camera, it's surveillance. I see my Roadrunner girl is trying to get on. Let me get them in here so we're all happy campers. Does anybody else have anything that they want to bring to my attention? Some questions that you might have?
Hey, Patty, it's Erica from Roadrunner.
Hey, girly, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there today. I have a question. I've had a tenant who passed away, and we, San Bernardino County, of course, we've gotten the 18-day abandonment next of kin. Do I allow his next of kin just to come retrieve personal items, like from memory? They don't want to clean out the units, but just like some photographs. Is that allowed? I don't know.
They're next of kin denoted to you by the coroner's office?
Yes, ma'am.
And then that's who you're giving a key to, and that's who you're now communicating with. You want to keep in close contact with your legal counsel so that you're not doing anything that's going to cause you strife later. And that's me completely disclosing. Make sure you talk to your attorney first. But yeah, if it's the next of kin, that's who you're supposed to give access to and try to I don't know if this person owes money, if you're going to try to come after the estate of for past due rents, or what you're trying to do here, but it's the next of kin that you need to be dealing with. Yes.
Only. So no other family member is allowed. Do I have to meet them at the property to let them in?
You can, I would. You have to remember, whenever somebody passes away, there's emotions usually run high, very high, and they might be attempting to gain some kind of a memory or something. They've had a tremendous loss in their life. So they may be looking for a materialistic item they can grab onto that maybe gives them memories or comfort or things of that nature. If they are the next of kin, then you let them in there. They are the ones appointed by the coroner's office to take legal responsibility for this person. So that's who you want to be dealing with. You don't want to be dealing with Aunt Sophie or Cousin Joe or anybody else that shows up. They don't get a key. They don't get to go in with a key. You don't provide them access unless your attorney suggests that you do so. Very important that you don't give keys to the wrong person.
Oh, perfect. That's all I needed. Thank you.
No worries. If you need anything else, you let me know. But that one you want to be real cautious with, that you aren't divulging information that doesn't belong to someone. Does that make sense? So don't tell Aunt Sophie what's going on, and don't tell Uncle Joe what's going on. Just tell the person that's been appointed as next of kin as what's going on. Okay.
Thank you.
No worries. Don't give them a key. If they're next to kin, they can have a key. If it's somebody else, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to help them without a court order. And it's that simple. Stay clear of it. Unfortunately, as human nature, when someone passes away, sometimes we have a hard time dealing with it. We weren't prepared for it, and we're looking for something along those memories of that person. So we want to be very cautious that we're not providing keys to someone that isn't entitled to them. Maybe somebody might show up and say, I just want this old jacket he used to wear all the time. I miss him. I need that. Don't fall for it. There could have been bars of silver in that jacket pocket, but just, I know it's really hard. Emotions are high. Everybody's dealing with a loss. Deal with the person that's next of kin. And if any other issues arise, contact your legal counsel so they can point you in the right direction.
I'm sorry, one more thing.
Yeah.
And the next of kin stated that they do not want any items, but there are passports, bank statements, and things in the home that need to be trashed. Is it my responsibility to retrieve them and shred them if the next of kin states she doesn't want anything?
Not to the best of my knowledge. Let me say it a different way to try to help you, okay? In the event that the next of kin doesn't want to come to the property or there's nothing in there that they want, then you would need them to sign a statement as such. With them stepping in and being the executor of the state, if you will, even if there's, they could have been appointed the executor of the state without asking. The reality is they're the next legal responsible party in the whole equation. So when you go to disperse your security deposit, you're going to relinquish it back to the estate of and your tenant's name. Okay. So you want to be very cautious that you're not eliminating things of your tenant and just bringing this new person in. It doesn't work that way. I've had instances where the next of kin has come in and asked me to dispose of all the items that they wanted nothing. And we had them put that in writing right in front of us. And then we just hired a crew to go in there and basically trash out the unit. If they didn't want anything, they don't want anything. As long as you have that in writing to cover your asset, you should be just fine. Okay. And if you have anything weird that happens with that one, feel free to give me a call. Okay.
I will.
I know you will. I know you will. But you should be fine. I had one once, a death in a unit, and it wasn't a death in a unit. If we want to be specific, it was a murder-suicide. It wasn't pretty. It was a young mother and a child, and the ex-boyfriend, baby daddy, showed back up to sign all the documents, say he had no further interest in the property or any of that. And I could see why. So there are some instances that do come across our desks where the family doesn't want any part of whatever happened, whatever's going on, and they don't want anything. So it is a possibility. It's not likely what happens. What happens is everybody shows up and they all want to grab a hold of something. So it doesn't happen very often where they don't want any of it, but it does happen. Okay, so don't think that it never happens. It can happen. It's happened to me twice in 30 years. So, hey, it does happen. It just doesn't happen very often. Usually it's the other way around. You have a bunch of people, they're all trying to get keys. They all want to go in there and get Aunt Sophie's stuff. It just, It's either one way or the other way. There's never an easy way. I hope that makes sense. Anybody have anything else that they want to bring to my attention? Any questions you want to ask? Any weird things going on? I'm sorry I'm not in my normal forte today, you guys. I'm actually live from the courthouse steps. Sorry, I got a tenant that's not paying me. It happens, right? We're human.
Patty, any news from LA County and LA City? Anything new you have to add?
New from the Devil's Cauldron. New things that I could add. LA County may do another extension, although I don't think it's likely. It is a possibility. So at this point, we're waiting for April 1st. As far as City of LA goes and LA's restrictions, you guys don't be shocked and surprised if it becomes the new standard and the new way of doing things as we see more and more restrictions implemented in a city that's demographic is tenants. Okay, it's a high concentration of tenants in the city of Los Angeles is why we have so many restrictions for them. I hope that makes sense, but that is the why behind it. Heavy populations of tenants come with heavy restrictions against landlords. We saw a lot of that in the county of San Diego during the pandemic when they started following suit with LA's really heavy restrictions. We saw San Diego do similar. So they have quickly become their own metropolis. So I have no doubt that the city of LA, I'm sorry, I misspoke. The city of San Diego is very quickly starting to act like the city of Los Angeles. Very quickly. So we're starting to see more and more restrictions and things of that nature going on in that neighborhood. And that, again, can become somewhat frustrating, confusing, what have you. All right. I am having technical difficulties just at the moment. Just give me 2 seconds because I'm trying to figure. All right, I'm back. There we go. I fixed it. I'm proud of me. I am burning up in my car right now. The sun's beating on me and it was 22 degrees when I left my house this morning. So I'm not a happy camper at the moment. Go to way too cold and then way too hot. All right, now you guys are messaging me again. Can I cause, I love your spirit regardless what has been going on. Oh, you guys are awesome. I talked to you about my tenant yesterday. It looks like my tenant's moving his stuff as we speak. That's awesome, Geraldo. Yay! Whenever we're getting our property back, that's always a good thing. I mean, nothing sucks worse than having a resident holding your investment hostage against you. I mean, it's ludicrous. So I'm glad they're vacating. That's good news. You have a property in Larso, one of my elderly tenants that doesn't seem to have a good balance while walking and going upstairs. The couple's been living here for about 30 years and their apartment is on the 2nd floor. What things and how should I protect myself in the case he lost his balance? You're worried about a slip and fall in your apartment community. The very first thing you can do is cover your asset to the best of your ability. That would be with your insurance, you guys. We can't always control what can and will happen. Welcome to Murphy's Law. But what we can do is protect our asset to the best of our ability by making sure we have all the coverages that we could have on our investment property, such as loss of rents. Unlawful or wrongful eviction coverage is something new that Farmers Insurance is offering. So we may not be able to control what the tenant's doing, but we can control how we protect our own asset. So making sure your insurance coverage is up to date, making sure you have additional coverages to help protect you in the event that life happens to us is very important. As far as having additional protections on your insurance, loss of rents, unlawful or wrongful eviction coverage is something that some insurance companies offer to help landlords, and that can come in extremely helpful. I know I've utilized my loss of rent coverage on my own
policies in the past when something has happened, and that's been a great tool to have. So keep that in mind when you guys are looking at your insurance and what's going on with your elderly tenants. Now, you need to be extremely cautious because they're seniors, they're a protected class. So we want to be very careful from a fair housing perspective on how we're addressing the issue. You can't tell them there's a problem. They need to tell you there's a problem. So with that being said, we can't just go, okay, you can't live here because you shouldn't be going upstairs. And you can't live there because you shouldn't be this. It's not our job to regulate what they're doing. It's our job to provide them housing. Got it? Now, you having concerns, very, very important to have those concerns. Very, very cautious. So you could mention to them when you have a unit that's available downstairs, you could ask them if they wanted to relocate to a ground floor unit. It might be more convenient for them. So something you could offer, but I wouldn't go around suggesting, hey, you really shouldn't be walking around in the upstairs unit because you're not so agile on your feet anymore. It's not something you want to say, okay? So I would address it such as, hey, I couldn't help but notice that we have a vacant unit coming on a downstairs unit and thought that might be of more convenience for you. Did you want to move to a downstairs unit? So now we're not talking about their health. We're not talking about their ability on their feet or the fact that they're getting older and aren't so stable anymore. We're not discussing any of that. We're offering them a downstairs unit as a matter of convenience. Other than that, there's not a whole lot that you can do because they are a protected class as seniors, and we have to be extremely cautious on what we suggest. Remember, we can't tell these people, any of them, how to live, not where to live or how to live or any of that. And we can't even tell adults, hey, watch your children. You better supervise them. We can't even do that. So telling someone that they should move to another unit for their own health and safety, and it's because they're getting older, I wouldn't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. I'm just saying. My kids give me garbage whenever somebody offers me a senior discount, and I want no part of it. I'll tell you. I'm like, no, I don't need the 10% discount. Don't give me the discount. No, I don't want to be a senior yet. So it can be extremely offensive to your tenant as well, depending on how they're mentally coping with getting older. So want to be cautious, okay? Val, I just saw your message. Can I shoot down a low-flying balloon over my house? Apparently, we have corrected the fact that I couldn't see you for a while, and I'm glad to have you back. And Val, come on. You think I'm going to give you advice on what you can and can't shoot? That's your area of expertise, okay? Not mine. So Val's being funny, you guys, and I do not ever suggest that you discharge a firearm within city limits. And I'll leave my statement at that. I will say this, though, and this is just personal note, personal Patty talking here, okay? In the event that soldiers from another country attempt to come over here and just start parachuting down on our land, I'm going to tell you to just start taking out those targets, okay? I'm kidding. I'm so kidding. Somebody told me that until they have boots on the ground, you can't shoot them or it's a war crime. And I thought to myself, so you got to let them land first? I'm glad I'm not in the military. I would not be good at it, okay? I am way too aggressive for that. It would never happen. So, yes, Val, if you want to shoot at something, I'm going to tell you to contact your legal counsel first because I don't know anything about criminal law, okay? My people, I love you guys. Okay, who is the insurer? Who do you recommend? State Farm, Farmers, Allstate no longer insures in the state of California. Geico does homeowners insurance. You guys, whoever you have your car insurance with will more than likely insure your house, and multiple policy discounts are wonderful if you can utilize that. You live in the first floor apartment, Ivana? Maybe you want to switch with them. But you get what I'm saying. Until a unit goes available that's vacant for them, there's really not a lot you can do or say. You want to be extremely cautious so that you're not violating any fair housing guidelines. Can I bill my tenant for the excess cost of a utility bill that my tenant agreed to pay for? When I present the bill to her, it is in a LARSO unit and the tenant is now month to month. If the tenant has agreed to pay that utility bill, then present the bill to her. Send her the bill. If she didn't agree to it and she doesn't agree to pay that utility, then don't you dare. A 2-bedroom, 1-bath in my area goes for about $1,800. My unit is on the small side, 600 square feet. How do I calculate the rent to charge? So you're about 600 square feet smaller, or your unit is smaller. Here's what I could tell you. Get on Zillow or Trulia. I want to say, I got to look to see which one. And you can actually put in the property address and click for rent, and it'll bring you up the comparable market rents of what other things are going for in that area. And you can plug that right in, and based on how many bedrooms, how many baths, etc. So Zillow and Trulia both do it. Trulia is a little bit easier to navigate, but it will give you houses for rent in that area, and then you can pick out the one that meets you like for like. And I'm going to say this, and thank you for looking at square footage when you're doing this, you guys. Don't just look at 1 bedroom, 1 bath and, oh, 5,500, that's how much my rent is. Whoa, slow down. You guys got to look at amenities. You have to look at apples for apples. What are they offering? What do you have? What can you offer? What do you got? So it's very important when you're setting your market rent that you're not pulling off the place with chandeliers hanging from every outlet in the living room and in every place in the house, and they have valet trash service and dog walking services and all this. If you're not offering that, then you can't ask for those rents. That isn't like for like, okay? So we need to do like for like. And don't think that you're going to be able to charge market rent if you just paint and put in new carpet. Okay, these tenants are much savvier than that. They know the difference between granite countertops and painted countertops. Okay, so if you try to do it the least expensive way, expect to get less rent. Hope that makes sense. Okay, and you don't want to charge them ridiculous amounts of rent, and then it's going to be question of, well, for what am I paying this for? You know, you're not offering me these other amenities. So you got to be cautious that everything is in writing, everything's in paper. What you're offering them is in writing, so that there's no misconception about the dog walking services or or the Uber back and forth from the bar. If that's something you're offering them, then you want to make sure that's known. That's part of the offer. If you're not offering that to them, don't say it. Okay? Don't tell them you offer valet trash services. That's not what you're doing. Okay? Very important that we don't do anything that's bait and switch. We tell them how it is, and that's what they get. We don't switch it once they get there. That's bad. Patty, is there oh, hang on. I see a lot coming through. Most of my policies are with foremost 2 different brokers. Patty, is there a lawsuit against the city of LA for the rent threshold? I'm sure there is. There's several lawsuits against the city of LA, the county of LA, the mayor, our governor. AGLA is just running tenfold going after them. It's ludicrous, you guys. Come on. They're holding our investment properties hostage against us. Patty, is there a lawsuit against? I got that one. So I'm not sure what's going on with AGLA's lawsuit. I'd have to call and check with them. Touch base, see what's going on. I'm searching for my words, and I probably need Val to help me. But what I'm trying to say, you guys, is don't be surprised if you see more restrictions being implemented and less of our powers or more of our powers being taken away. We're the minority in LA City and LA County, and tenants are the majority. Okay, so with that being said, they make all the laws protecting who? The majority of voters. That's right, not us. So why would you think that those restrictions would lessen? Does that make sense? If you're in a heavily populated area with a heavy tenant population, why would you think the rules would ever go to your favor? I hope that makes sense. I hope the gears are turning in your head right now and you're going, I'm hearing what you're saying, Patty. I'm hearing you. Because I'll tell you, the next metropolis I think that's going to get hit with all the rent control, bureaucracy, and BS is going to be the county of San Diego. Have you guys been there lately? They have high rises everywhere. It kind of looks like LA, but more. Okay, if you guys haven't been to San Diego in a while, I highly suggest that you go check it out. In fact, if you haven't been to your old school that you grew up in, go drive through that neighborhood and see what that looks like now. Okay, there's a huge shift going on in our state, in LA County specifically, and we're starting to see in other counties. We have huge building projects going on. We have huge multifamily communities being built. We have ADU units popping up everywhere. It's what we're doing, okay? We're growing. In my small community, there seems to be a renewed bombardment of code enforcement snooping around. They want to clear the area. Seems mighty suspicious. Val, are you talking about in OC or in OC? I might be able to tell you why. Code enforcement in Orange County and code enforcement in LA County speak totally different language. One is very pro. It seems, in my personal opinion, that Orange County is not on the homelessness bandwagon, okay? They don't like tents set up in neighborhoods. They don't like the homelessness in their city. So they do a lot to combat it. In LA, on the other hand, we see things like, oh, there's somebody staying in my storage shed in my backyard. Let me call the police. You call the police and the police tell you, he says he lives there, so it's a civil matter. Now you have to evict them. That's what's going on right now in Lancaster, in Los Angeles. No words. I got no words. I never, ever thought that we would lose so many key elements of our business. And during the pandemic, it showed us unauthorized occupants, unauthorized pets, failure to allow entry. We couldn't do anything about those. We're just now getting failure to allow entry back, but be careful, folks. Don't use it the wrong way or they'll scream retaliation. So you want to be real cautious on how you move forward, especially in LA County, LA City. Just because we got things back doesn't mean we need to march down the streets with our pitchforks on fire. We want our house. It's not gonna work like that. Okay, it's just not. So don't even try it. As far as unauthorized occupants and unauthorized pets, the way the legislation's going is they now made it for any new construction built 2023 and newer allows pets, regardless. They wrote that into law. In LA. So, in Orange County, Val, your code enforcement department in the Orange County area is They don't like homelessness. And that's why code enforcement is running in full force. On the other hand, just had a house 2 weeks ago in LA County. Landlord went on vacation, rented their house out on Airbnb for 10 days, came back, tenant won't get out. But they've only been there for 10 days, Patty. That falls under innkeeper laws. Not in LA County and not in LA City. That mayor says, no, no, no. We're not ejecting people right now because of the homelessness problem. So if they move into your shed, you're going to have to pay to evict them. And I promise you guys, if somebody moves into my shed, I will not take matters into my own hands because I don't look good in orange. I don't. I've tried it before. I don't look good in orange. Not going to wear it, you know, so I won't take matters into my own hands. I promise. All right, let's see what you guys got going on. Remind me of the organization to contact about RUBS in Kern County. I have 2 duplexes that are now installing individual washer dryer that I pay the water on. Yeah, let's talk about that, Val, because you're in Kern County. You could do a 30-day notice of change of terms of tenancy, making each party responsible for their own water bill and then utilize the RUBS system. Basically, you'd split the water bill in half depending on how many people are in each unit, and then you could charge them up to $4.95 as an admin fee for figuring that out every month, just so you know. And that goes up annually with the CPI. There's one for you. I saw something else come through. Let me go find it. It's a big one. Hi, Tony. I received a red alert email from AGLA stating that LA County Supervisors Hilda Solis and Lindsay Horvath on February 7th added that last minute amendment to the homelessness emergency declaration. This move appears to possibly be used to extend the eviction moratorium indefinitely throughout LA County. They have 45 days to report back how this will affect evictions. If I start it after April 1st, most likely my problem tenants will claim homelessness, even though they were living in a different county with a family for over 5 months. I completely and totally understand and agree with you with the frustration of how the county and the city is looking at this. I have my whole other way of how to combat the homelessness problem, but I'm just a blonde. You know, I think that the city utilizing landlords to hold their investments hostage against them to combat the homelessness problem isn't the way to fix it. Geraldo, no, I wouldn't shoot him. That's not legal. Come on, you guys, we got to play nice. My theory on it is actually relatively simple. It's utilize. Okay, you guys want my short story on how to fix the homelessness problem in the state of California? It's good, I promise. You ready? What if we, as a community, turned the abandoned shopping malls into incarceration centers? And hold on, because I don't think they should just be arrested. And let me say that. A lot of people that are homeless have mental issues. They may be down on their luck. They may need some help. They may have drug issues. Look at an abandoned shopping mall. Let's take the city of Hawthorne, for example. I know because I grew up there. I lived there for years. Their mall's abandoned, has been for over a decade, maybe 2 decades now. I'm not sure, and don't tell how old I am, okay? But here's the long and the short of it. It would be relatively easy to turn those into someplace that people were locked up. I mean, you could easily fence those and make those so that people couldn't easily get out of them. If we made homelessness an arrestable offense, okay, and then we move the homeless to these abandoned shopping malls, you could have the anchor stores like Montgomery Ward's and Broadway. Those could be the mental rehabilitation center or the drug rehab center, and all those little shops could act as bunk rooms, and you could even have some set up for families, and you could have a work release program that actually help them get back on their feet again. And then you could send the bill back to the state that shipped them here in the first place for $1.2 million for rehabilitating them. Okay, not all the people that are homeless need to be. Some of them do it by choice. I have a friend that works in human resources at Staples, you know, the office supply company. She says she has about 30 people at her establishment that are homeless by choice. They don't want to spend $4,000 a month on rent. They'd rather go to Bass Pro Shop and buy all the camping gear I can't afford and utilize that and just take their risks when the police come and throw everything away. Talk to somebody who did that, okay? They said they went 18 months before they got raided and had to go buy all their equipment again. 18 months. 18 months of not paying $4,000 a month. Just saying, some of these people are homeless by choice. They don't like the amount of rent. And I'm going to be quite frank when I say this too. I'm not paying $4,000 a month in rent, and I don't think you want to either. That's why we're in this business, right? We don't want to pay high rents. So, yeah. All right, hang on. Self-help is fought with peril. Yes. Shoot them. We can't shoot them. Give them free drugs so they overdose. We can't do that. Come on, you guys. I'm sorry you hear somebody else talking besides me. I am sitting with my air conditioner going. I apologize. All right. Are we all square? Everybody can hear me now? I'm on fire in my car. How hot? Oh, it's 72 degrees. That's why. And I have on clothes that was for 23 when I left my house this morning. I am baking in my car. When you brought up unauthorized pets, people, it reminded me of a website that for $179 they'll write an ESA letter so anyone can get one. This shouldn't be legit. I can't charge for an application. It's not legitimate. You guys do understand under new legislation implemented January 1st of 2022. So this happened last year. The reason you may not know about it is we don't want you messing around with it in LA County or LA City because it's too easy for a tenant to say that it's retaliatory. Got it? Okay. What has come about is a patient seeing a doctor needs to be seeing that medical doctor for at least 30 days before they write the doctor's note. But we don't want you to go poking in the eye in LA City and LA County. So for the most part, a lot of our education and our training has left out the new laws regarding emotional support animals because we don't want you guys to get deemed a retaliatory issue. That's not fun. Okay. So right now in LA County and LA City, there's nothing we can do for unauthorized pets or unauthorized occupants until the moratorium's lifted. With that being said, don't go poking them in the eye over an emotional support animal. You guys remember this. If they have a doctor's note, it falls under ADA guidelines. And like I've told you guys before, stop thinking of it as a dog. It is not a dog. It is not a cat. It is not a kangaroo. It is a wheelchair. It is an assistive device for a disabled person. Nothing more, nothing less. So unless you want to be poking the ADA right in the eyeball, don't do it. Okay? It's not a good business practice. Err on the side of caution. It speaks volumes. Okay? And try to do this. Refer to all animals as a pet. Oh, I love your pet. It's beautiful. What beautiful coloring it has. Until they tell you otherwise. I'm sorry, that's not a pet. That's an emotional support animal. That's my therapy animal. That's my, okay? You refer to them as a pet until you're told otherwise. Once they tell you otherwise, that is a wheelchair. That's how you should look at it. It's an assistive device for a disabled person and not something you want to be poking in the eye because it's this much. I know you guys can't see my fingers. It's probably an inch on Patty's fingers, okay, of fair housing. And it is a wide open platform for American Disabilities Act. You don't want to be discriminating, okay, for anything. It's just not okay in this business. It doesn't fly well. The guy that writes it has a license. What kind of license does he have? Because if they haven't been seeing him for 30 days, it doesn't comply with the new regulations. But I don't want you guys to try to implement those regulations if you're in LA at all. It's not worth the risk. It's too easy for a tenant to say that you're just retaliating against them because you're not paying or something along those lines. Oh my goodness, you guys, did the sound go away? That weird sound that I had going on, did it disappear? I think I figured out who was talking besides me. I had the radio on. I'm sorry. Oops. All right, does here comes, yeah, right? Thank you, Val. Does anybody have anything else? Anything for me? I'd be more than happy to help assist you. Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Yesterday, I checked with the DCBA website to see what posting need to be placed on my rental building. They're updating the postings required. It says coming soon. I also checked for no cause relocation fees. For relocation assistance, it appears they're changing that too because it says coming soon. Do you think they will be increasing the relocation rates and will place new standards on making it more expensive to evict for owner move-in and for substantial improvements with permits? We need to keep an eye out because they are making a lot of changes. And if you are not aware, you can possibly get into problems. I couldn't have said that better. We have to stay aware of what's going on because it tells us a lot. Do you guys remember back in 2021, January, when I came to you and I said, you guys aren't going to believe this. You're not going to believe it. The Department of Fair Housing made homelessness a protected class. You guys remember that? Happened January 1st of 2021. I told you, watch out, because there's going to be something going on with homelessness. You mark my words, they're protecting them for a reason. Well, well, look what's happening now. Just saying. So when we see legislation that changes, but we don't understand why it changed, just wait. In about 6 months, you'll find out exactly why it changed, okay? There's something else going on we know nothing about, and that's the way it works, okay? Another way you can foresee sometimes what the law changes are going to be or what they're gearing up for is watch the bills that don't pass. You know, the ones that didn't get voted in, they'll be back again next year. They'll revamp it and they'll keep trying until it passes. So that's usually what happens. And I'll tell you this, the statewide rent control, we fought that off for over 13 years before it finally passed. So fighting it off and having it come back is something we're accustomed to here in California, because they will keep coming back until it finally gets approved or is bent enough in the right direction for them to pass it. So that's how those laws get passed. And remind you, we, on some of them, have no warning. On a Tuesday, you'll hear on the radio, the maximum security deposit a landlord can take is now comparable to 1 month's rent and not a dime more on a Tuesday. because they don't want you to go double the rent on your security deposit on everything else you own before the law takes place. So a lot of these things just slide right in and we hear about them. We don't have time to combat them or react to them or change them. So sometimes we just hear about it. Central move-in. What is the DCBA's website? I'm not sure. Type in DCBALA and it should link you right to it. It didn't pass. They rammed it through statewide rent control. You're right. It didn't pass and they rammed it through. But that's what I'm meaning about. If we watch what's happening in the bills that don't pass, it tells us what they're gearing up for in the future. Make sense? Sometimes, not always. It's just another way to go, I thought that might have happened, but I wasn't sure. All right, does anybody else have anything? I am baking in this car, even with the air conditioner on. I would like to replace the main entry door to a 4-unit apartment building. Do I need to replace with a 1 or 2 hour fire rated door in Larso? You need to contact building and safety in the city that you're going to be in and ask them. I can't verify what building and safety codes are in each individual city. Sorry, folks, my brain is only so big and it only holds so much information. And knowing the municipalities' building codes in individual cities, I opted not to hold that in my brain. Having that fire core door is very important. Usually that fire core door is required for entry from a garage to a house. And I'm not sure what fire core door rating would be required for a front door, because in my neck of the woods, a fire core safe door is only required from the garage to the house, not on the front door. See why I'm telling you to check with building and safety in your community to get that answer, because I don't have it and I don't know it. But it's building and safety that would be able to answer that for you. And in the best of my knowledge, a fire core door goes between a garage and a dwelling, not on a front door. But I could be wrong. I guess it would depend on how the property's set up, right? Does anybody have anything else? If not, I'm going to get out of this hot car and drive back to the office. So if you guys need me, feel free to call me. You're going to have me for about an hour until I get back to where I need to be. And if you guys need anything else, we'll be back next week in case the wind blows us some new laws and legislation and things we need to understand. I'd be more than happy to help you translate. But I'm going to get off of here. Unless anybody pipes up and says they have one more thing they just need to know, speak now or forever hold your peace. We'll at least hold it until next Wednesday when we come back. And I'd be more than happy to help assist you guys with whatever you need, okay? Thank you guys. You guys have a great week. And if you're not liking what's going on in LA City, contact the city. Call them and tell them that you don't like it. AGLA has a whole list of phone numbers for you to call at the city councilman and holler at them for what they've been doing or what they haven't been doing. You pick. All right, you guys have a great week. I'll talk to you soon. If you need me, hunt me down. Bye.